Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video. Today we are going to be talking about Winter Storm Peggy, which will be impacting the Midwest and interior Northeast through the end of this week, bringing some decent snowfall totals, nothing super impressive, but still a decent threat, as well as possible blizzard conditions to certain areas in the Midwest. So let's get right on into it, but first, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Right now I'm on the Weather Channel page, and we have another article. Two more snowmakers ahead for the Midwest and the Northeast. We're going to be talking about one of those today, and that is Peggy. We are tracking two potential snowmakers in the Midwest and the Northeast through the weekend. The first system will track across the upper Midwest and interior Northeast late week. The first storm, named Winter Storm Peggy by the Weather Channel, could bring blizzard conditions to parts of the Midwest Thursday into Friday. Now, this first snowmaker is going to be starting out on Thursday, bringing some moderate to heavy snowfall from areas near Kansas City up into the UP and Michigan. The UP and Michigan being the target for this storm, since they will be having lake-enhanced and lake-effect snowfall brought on by this storm. Now, moving into Friday, this storm moves into the Northeast. You can see that all of the major cities are not going to be in the snow portion of this event. That rain snow line will be to the north and west of those cities, but some areas of the interior Northeast could see a light snowfall, generally less than 3 inches. So, here is the snow forecast per the Weather Channel. This is pretty similar to what I have, maybe just a little bit less gaps in this, and I have a little bit more on the back end. This back end is currently happening in North Dakota, South Dakota, and parts of Minnesota. So let's head on over to the National Weather Service. So right now we have those red colors there. That is blizzard warnings. That means that there is a pretty good chance that these areas see those 30, 35 mile an hour sustained winds for 3 hours, giving them blizzard conditions. Now, winter storm warnings are generally, there's not many here. Portions of Wisconsin and Michigan, as well as portions of Iowa and Illinois in those winter storm warnings. We have plenty of winter weather advisories. Those are just areas that are going to be seeing some snow, some wind, maybe even some freezing rain, and just not enough to really name any winter storm warnings for those areas per their local National Weather Service office. But we're starting to see some winter storm watches pop up for the interior Northeast. I think that this storm system will generate a lot of lake effect snow across all 5 lakes, actually. So that's probably the most significant threat outside of the blizzard and just a general decent amount of snowfall. So here is the 72-hour probability of accumulating 4 inches of snow. You can see that we have a lot of these reds. That's 80% plus. So at least 80% chance of accumulating 4 inches of snow in much of Michigan and the northeast portion of Wisconsin. If we go down to at least 50%, you include all of Wisconsin, pretty much all of Michigan, except for the very eastern portions near Detroit, portions of Illinois, and Iowa. So let's move on here to the NAM and go in depth into this storm. So we're going to start off here on the simulated radar, so let's kind of go picture by picture here. So we have this low pressure in Kansas that moves to the east as well as a little bit to the south, but it starts to pull up that Gulf moisture we can see right here. Now that'll bring in some heavier moisture, of course. So you have some rain, some freezing rain where those two air masses collide, the warm moist air of the Gulf of Mexico and the cold air that will be brought down by this system. That starts our polar trend with a polar air mass right behind this. But you can see some decent moderate to heavy snowfall from Nebraska up through Minnesota. Now this storm will strengthen. You can see 999 millibars, relatively weak, but for a central US system it's not that bad. You can see some more freezing rain here. That rain is still moderate to heavy. Snow is moderate to heavy as well. We also have a pretty defined rain snow line here. That's pretty pretty substantial for the amount of cold air that's behind this. We would probably see this in any other storm like that. Now, as the storm moves to the north, it's going to be moving a lot slower. That's really going to help bring some of those snow totals up, especially in parts of Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. Eventually, this thing does get its gears into shape and starts to move northeast into Canada. Now, at the same time, you will be seeing some rain, mixed precipitation, and snow in portions of the northeast. Of course, all north and west of the major cities, but some areas such as New York could get pretty close and might start off with a few flurries before turning over to all rain. Now, once that system moves through, you can see that it's a very light snow, probably nothing more than 3 inches. But once you get past that, there's not many impacts left from this, except for some maybe a little bit of lake effect snow. But then we have to start talking about all this cold. But we'll talk about that another time. Right now, we're going to talk about some winds. We're going to generally look for some pinks. And you can see that there's plenty of them. And where that overlaps with some snowfall, you can see that is, of course, Iowa. Iowa's been at the brunt of many systems, and this system looks to be another one of those. But eventually, you get into the Midwest here, the Great Lakes region, and you can see that those winds start to pick up. That'll be key in the lake effect snow portion of this event, where those winds will be kicking across all of the lakes and driving some lake effect moisture. Now let's move on here to some just total accumulated precipitation. So you can see that the highest precipitation totals are in those snowy areas, such as Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin. That means that if you're going to be seeing snow, you're probably going to be seeing maybe a little bit of that wet snow, but overall you're going to be seeing a lot of it. So let's go over here to some freezing rain. Now, freezing rain is going to be pretty isolated with this storm, but in general, the area that will be seeing it most is areas of Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and the UP and Michigan. Now, here's the one that you've all been waiting for, snow. This storm will be dropping a decent amount of snowfall, even up to 24 inches with that lake effect snow. But, of course, generally just 12 to 24 max here in parts of Wisconsin and the UP and Michigan, as well as the lower peninsula of Michigan getting in on some of that heavy lake effect snow as well, boosting those snow totals. Now, a broad area of 6 to 12 from Iowa into the UP and Michigan, but other than that, you have a pretty general, 1 to 6 inches. And in the northeast, you can see even less than that, probably very sparse amounts of even 3 inches of snow. But that is all I have for the models here. Let's go over to my predictions for this storm and see how these connect to each other. Here are my in-depth predictions for Winter Storm Peggy. So, we have, first off, snow. Less than 3 inches for most of North Dakota, Minnesota. Then you get into just the areas surrounding the heaviest snow, and then most of the interior northeast is in that less than 3 inches. Then you have 3 to 6 inches. This is areas of eastern Minnesota, western Wisconsin, southeast Wisconsin. You also have most of Illinois that's going to see impacts from this storm. Indiana, Michigan, certain areas. Then you move on here to 6 to 12 inches. This is from Iowa up into Minnesota. You also have those areas that'll see some lake effect snow, and then you have 12 plus inches, and in parentheses lake effect snow. These areas could see 12 inches, they could see 24 inches, just because of how that lake effect snow will just continue to batter these areas with snowfall. For ice, I have this red area stretching from Iowa up through the UP of Michigan. That's just the greatest potential for freezing rain and ice accumulations. For rain, I have 2 colors. Light green is less than a half an inch, and the dark green is half an inch to an inch. Now, there could be isolated areas that see higher or lower amounts of snow, just based on banding, based on lake effect snow, based on lines of thunderstorms if there are any, just your general stuff. So could see isolated higher and lower totals. But that is all I have for this storm. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.